I was supposed to be talking about the horror of Grady Hendrix for this next episode, but I have a massive headache. Plus, I still haven't finished this book, We Sold Our Soul. This was the first Grady Hendrix book I ever saw and was interested in, and it's gonna end up being the last one I ever read before his newest book comes out in July. So you know the drill. I am the mother of 3 preteen/teenagers, so any background noise, it's them. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I love comic books. I have just a few long boxes stored in my office. Not many. I thought I would go over some of the comic books I am reading right now. So first up, of course, is Doctor Who. Anytime a Doctor Who comic book comes out, I'm going to pick it up. I am a huge Doctor Who fan. I just now, within the last month or so, dismantled my Doctor Who shelf in order to have room to actually store the books that I'm reading. Now it's just something that I genuinely enjoy. My whole family watches Doctor Who, so anytime there's a comic book coming out, I'm going to read it. This specific book that came out just within the last month features the fugitive doctor. She is from a time period from before the television show. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you have to watch the last couple of seasons with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who to understand who she is, but she is one of the favorite doctors in our house. I realized very quickly that I am out of practice when it comes to pronouncing the names of creatives on comic books. So I will be posting a credits page for each of the books that I talk about and doing my very best to try not to butcher those names. This specific Doctor Who issue is written by Jodie Hauser. Art is by Roberta Ingranata, Warnia K. Sadhuya, and the lettering is by Comic Craft. This specific issue of Superman Action Comics, it's the annual, so it's not part of the regular series. It's a special edition one. It's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Cy Spurrier. The artists are Dale Eaglesham and Ian Churchill. Colorist is Lee Luridge. Letterer is Dave Sharp. And the cover is by Francesco Francavilla. Love his art so much, and it's so nice to see a cover of his that's not all red and black. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love his red and black artwork, but it gets old after a while. Of course, Superman Action Comics is the main comic line for Superman. This specific issue kind of juxtaposes Mongul and Superman, and so it's Mongul's secret origin. Never been a character that I've cared much for, so it was very different and interesting. The great part about this issue is Clark Kent in his childhood and Martha dealing with illness and hair loss, and showing that in contrast with standing up for yourself and knowing when to fight and not to fight. I really do appreciate that storyline about, you know, standing up for yourself without needing to resort to violence. This is Aquaman. It's also a new series. This particular issue is script is by Chuck Brown and Brandon Thomas. The pencils are by Sammy Basri. Inks are by Sammy Basri and Vicente Cifuentes. Aquamen focuses on the entire Aqua family, so not just Aquaman, but the second Aquaman, Jackson Hyde, who is the son of Black Manta, on my favorite character in the world, Mira, and things that are happening within their family or their found family that they have created. This specific storyline, they're dealing with trying to figure out if Aquaman has kind of turned traitor on them all because he's working with Black Manta and they're not sure what's going on. And there are these terrorists who are attacking land dwellers, and they seem to be controlled by people in the ocean, by Atlanteans, and it's setting it up to make you doubt Aquaman or make you think Aquaman's behind it, but I'm sure, of course, it'll reveal to be something else entirely. It's very interested to see where this is going. Sticking with the Aquaman thing, this is Aquaman Andromeda. This is the DC Black Label book for Aquaman. If you're not aware, DC Black Label is an adult-centered comic book. If you can see, they're actually bigger than a standard size comic. They have the big DC Black Label on them. There's been quite a few of these for various DC characters. I have some of the Catwoman issues as well. This particular issue is by Ram V. Is that Ram V or Ram 5? I'm not sure. And we got cats trying to run off. And then Christian Ward. So they are the two credited. We've got the letters by Adia Bidikar. Honestly, you get the Black Label books for the art. The art is always gorgeous. The art is always worth it. And wrapping up our Aquaman roundup, this issue just came out last week, Aquaman and the Flash Void Song. It's a team-up or crossover book, whatever you want to call it. It is by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, art by Vasco Georgiev, colors by Rain Barreto, and letters by Troy Peteri. It's okay. I'm not a big Flash fan. I tried to get into the Flash for a while. I actually have a lot of the New 52 Flash comic books upstairs. I know there's a lot of people who absolutely love the Flash television show. I am not crazy about the Mara in this book. She's got the heat and the fire and the anger that Mara traditionally has, but I'm not crazy about the way she's drawn in this book. Not my favorite. I am very glad that they included her. They recognize that she is important to Aquaman's story. And then the last book that I'm reading on the regular is Strange, which is not about Doctor Strange. He is dead in the Marvel comics, if you did not know. That's not a spoiler. That's just up front. He's been dead for a while now. This Strange comic book is actually about his wife, Clea. She has taken over as the Sorcerer Supreme, and I love Clea. She is amazing. She has had one of the biggest glow-ups in comic books when it comes to women in comics. She went from the damsel in distress to the niece of the big bad to the biggest, baddest, most awesome woman in the Marvel Universe. I mean, she's not the 100% the most powerful, but she is amazing, and I love her for it. This particular storyline is dealing with Clea and her going through, kind of stages of grief. And specifically, she's kind of in denial about Strange being gone, and she's trying to find a way of bringing him back to life. The writer is Jed MacKay. The penciler is Marcelo Ferreira. Inks by Roberto Poggi and Don Ho. Colorist is Jada Tartaglia, and lettering is by Corey Petit. Back on the book side of things, my to-read pile is kind of stacking up. This isn't even counting 2 other library books that I have due here in the next 6 days. I of course got Feather and Flame. I'm really looking forward to this book so much more than the first book in the series, which I have a review for over on my channel. If you look in the reviews playlist, The Shadow of Kyoshi, if you want to hear my thoughts on the first Kyoshi book, check out my very first video. My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I do want to read his other book, The Only Good Indians. I just got done reading The We Free Men by Terry Pratchett as part of a small private book club that I'm a part of. I'm trying to finally read Discworld, and so my husband and I, as soon as we're done with The Haunting of Hill House, which we're almost done with, we're going to read Small Gods. Another library book that I just got because I laughed out loud when I read the premise of this series, is White Trash Warlock by David R. Slayton. We were in Greenville. We saw the most gorgeous bookstore I've ever seen in my whole life. I was like, I have to buy at least one thing from here. And so I picked up the anniversary edition of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. It has absolutely beautiful, beautiful art by Chris Rydell. So that's it. That wraps us up for today. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment or hit me up on Twitter, and look forward to talking with everybody next time.